be on his podcast. We're going to do it live, and I'm going to repost it. So this is one of the few yoga teachers who studied with all the masters, still living, this man. Baron Baptiste, the living legend, and he's visiting me. We met through a partner, a friend of ours, mutual friend, Paige, who runs the African Yoga Project. You were just in Africa.
Yeah,
right?
In Kenya.
So I'm going to be interviewed by Baron. He's been here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been amazing 2 weeks.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, it has been the best. GDOS is a paradise.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a paradise for wellness, getting healthy, just getting your life back. Especially if you feel like you've lost your life, lost yourself, lost your health. Man, this is a place to come reclaim it. Reclaim it, and man, 2 weeks here, I'm walking out with a new self, a whole new being, a whole new way of being. Yeah, it's been so good, Russ. Man.
Oh, I'm so happy you came. I'm
just so
honored.
good.
I've had many famous people here. I've had like Mike Tyson just left, and JB Smoove left, my favorite comedian, probably living comedian. JB Smoove left, his wife, and Taraji's been here twice, and Usher's been here twice, and so many people have visited me, but I'm always especially excited when yogis come, because that's why we built this place too. Take the knowledge of someone like Baron and give it to people who may be suffering in various different ways. And yoga is, in one of the many definitions, is the science of happiness. And in this toxic world, so many people are unhappy.
Yeah.
So, having you visit, or even the guy from Human Garage, I mean, all these people who are based on healing and promoting wellness and spiritual wellness, these are the people that I love to see come. I love everyone who comes, but I love especially excited about you. All the yogis, I live here in Yoga Vegan Disneyland, so all the yogis are like, oh my God, Baron Baptiste, is that you? I said, I know. You know what I'm saying? But they're excited that he's here. And so okay, so this is his podcast. I just wanted to preface what we are doing live.
Yeah, well, the podcast is Disrupt the Drift. That's the name of it, Disrupt the Drift. So it's about, we drift along in life, and we just drift along, and we wind up being a certain way. We wind up with a certain life. And but I think there's something about disruption, like disrupting that drift, just that flow, drifting along. And I'll tell you, coming here to GDOS has been a disruption. Like I felt pretty good overall, but even with that, it was like a disruption just to like open up to a whole new world within myself, a whole new world of health, wellness, and you and I were talking earlier, and I was prefacing this thing that Lao Tzu had said, something about outwardly be a king and inwardly be a sage. Yeah. And man, you really embody that to me, because it's like you've created this environment here that, in the material world, the physical universe, it's like, this is a beautiful place. Like I'm a Four Seasons guy. I like staying at Four Seasons. I like
you're
luxury.
A yogi. I thought you lived in a hut.
I'll do that too. I'll do both. But if I have my choice,
I have my choice.
But this place, GDOS, is almost the best of both. It has the Four Seasons kind of luxury and vibe, but it's down to earth, and it's like it's a place where you can really get grounded in yourself. But you've got that king, that being the king outwardly, of creating an environment like this that contributes to people, that it makes a real difference for humanity. People can come here and reset, and they can find themselves newly.
Well, and this is, let me just say, this is, to me, it's a little bit of magic, because I never built a bathroom. And on this couch is in place where I was sitting with Andre Harrell when I told him that Krishna came to me and gave me a name. Of course, my man from the hood, Krishna gave you a name? Really, fucker? Krishna? I said, yeah, but Govinda Dasananda is the name, God's blissful servant. He said, I'll call you G Das. And the mission was to be a good servant for people in their spiritual and physical wellness, right? That was the mission. That's what my books are about. So now I want to fulfill that. And then Andre named the place G Das, God's servant.
Yeah.
So it really is coming out, like, it's kind of magical how it's falling in place. And I hope it's really here to help a lot of people. You know, I mean, it's just starting. And you being here is a big deal for us because, again, I mean, Krishna Das sat on this couch. A lot of
good buddy of mine.
They're all good buddies of yours.
Amazing man.
Yeah, he is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, KD was here, and a lot of great spiritual teachers and other. Swami Atananda, who worked with Ravi Shankar, was here, and one of the most impressive people I met. So I've been lucky enough to see some yogis, but mostly it's been Hollywood rappers, and David Banner was just here, and people who come from out of David now becoming such a big actor. He's doing very well, but they come from that rat race. And so when the yogis show up, it's the time for me to even feel relieved because then I'm always learning, and growing myself. And of course, those people are really inspiring. Like you, the story you told yesterday. He taught a class for those who don't know at Yoga Barn, and they announced it, and the next day it was sold out, 100 people, and they're in the class, and he's told this story, which was. I mean, because it was all yogis that came, all these teachers. The room was full of teachers.
Yeah.
The whole room. That was the people who bought the tickets first. And all those teachers came to hear you speak, but they would understand your message. Your message about presence and awareness, about the state of yoga was profound. And I don't know if you even know what you said. I know you know, but you said that holding your child for the first time was the same feeling as the feeling you got when your mother told you your father had passed and when you lost your family. Like those things happened right away, and then you walked a few steps and you went into a teaching, and because you were fulfilling your purpose, you said you felt this presence.
Yeah.
You can never suffer in the present.
Yeah.
Only we read that and say that over and over, but we still suffer.
Yeah.
But you said that in a bunch of yogis, it didn't fall on deaf ears. That this extremely blissful experience and this extremely painful experience were one and the same for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only a yogi says shit like that. And only a yogi understand it.
A devastating moment, losing my father, and then an ecstatic moment of holding my son for the first time in the birthing room. But I was so fully present. Now, in the devastating moment, losing my father, I wasn't happy. There was no happiness in that.
Of course, right.
But in that moment, I was going in to teach a class, right? And I walked in to teach that class right after getting the news from my mom that my father just passed away. I walk into a class and just immediately I was fulfilled. And I was fully present with people. But what I got there was like connecting with people. Like I was in this classroom, unhappy, my father died, but I was fulfilled. Because what fulfills me is being with people, connecting with people, contributing to people. But I think that's available to all of us. So whatever fulfills you, you could say, like, I found my calling in teaching, like being with others, contributing to others. I found my calling. And so even though we go through these highs and lows of life, pain, loss, suffering, if you're living fulfilled, like what's most important to you, you can go through anything in life because that's your true north. What fulfills us is our true north. It's like that North Star. And so that's what pulls us through the highs and lows. And I know when I sit here, you all can't see this on camera, but he's got a table here of all these photos of people. He's from his family, his beautiful daughters. He's got, Mike Tyson. He's got, oh man, I mean, there's just, there's Usher, there's Obama. I mean, we could go around. There's just all these people that have been a part of your life. When I say again, you live outwardly like the king, as Lao Tzu said. And if we look back, you've shared stories like the beginnings of hip hop. Like you were right there. You've created and accomplished so much in your life. But then the other side of it is here, you've created an environment you've brought all your experience. This is what I see. All your experience of accomplishing great things in hip hop and music and fashion and all of it. You brought all that to GDOS, and you're living, but you live like the sage life. Like this man meditates. Every morning he's on this couch at 8 a.m. He meditates. Then he goes right to yoga practice. You live the vegan life as well, right? You're vegan.
But what we learn, because you're not a spring chicken either. You're a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
But we've been here for a minute. After a while we learn, and you also were born a yogi. Yeah. Right. The people who know your podcast know you, but when I post this, maybe people will learn a little more. He was born a yogi, and his parents were yogis in the 50s, and they brought some of the yogic sages to America. Like you told me, they brought
Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Right, that's the founder of the meditation that I do, the Maharishi Yogi, and Yogananda.
People like Yogananda. My uncle is instrumental. He was Yogananda's public spokesperson, and then all the teachers. That world, growing up. Yeah, my parents opened the first yoga center in San Francisco in the 1950s. Before yoga was a thing. I mean, back then yoga was weird. It
was weird when I got into it 30 years ago. It was weird.
It was still weird 30 years ago. Yeah. Back then, my parents were way ahead of their time. People thought they were weird. Growing up in San Francisco and my parents owning a yoga center, I was always teased at school. Kids called me Hare Krishna, and I'd be the kid showing up with my lunch bag with my banana had brown spots. All the other kids that their bananas were green and yellow. I had brown bread, wheat bread. Other kid, Wonder Bread.
That's why you was 61 and look 12.
Yeah.
Right. So you're lucky. All that shit your parents did.
Now it's all normal, right? It's society's accepted.
But it's more than normal. Your North Star, like your parents, knew where to go and took you and birthed you into a place where you could be of great service. And all of your teachings, and they came, like you said, first you rebelled a little bit. Of course, so did everybody. The Buddha, everybody. They say this is your path, but you're already on the path so far. Yeah. You're already so far on the path. My teacher, and you told me you had heard from her saying it too, Sharon and David, but I got it from Ruth, who was her disciple. And Ruth said, a child born of two yogis is the greatest birth. Yeah. Right? Because you're already on the path. And you've already been giving. Even Yoki, who's just left, my daughter Yoki is, when she was struggling and she came here and she started meditating and doing yoga, just like she was a kid. Yeah. I made her read my books. I made her do meditation every day before school. I would take her to school, and I made her do lots of yoga. That's such a healing and a great experience to be able to come back to. Yeah. So you have that. You have that real history, and of course you became this famous yoga teacher. Thousands of people would come and see you, and all over the world now. Yeah. So there's not too many like you who study with all the great masters. Yeah. Yanga and obviously my gurus you knew very well, Sharon and David, but also Patabi Joyce, right, and Bikram. You told me you were one of Bikram's teachers.
I had a little stint with Bikram.
Before he named it Bikram.
Back in the 80s, before it was a thing. Just one little studio in LA, and had a stint there. Let me ask you.
In the 80s, man, all I was doing was...
what were you doing in the 80s?
Just getting high, man. I was fucked up. But I had a hit record in 82, or 79, so not the 80s. So I survived, and I was just starting to make hip-hop records. Yeah. 81 and 82 we recorded It's Like That and Suck MC, and 79 we made Christmas rapping. So I started making hip hop records then, so I survived. I'm older than you, that's why. Yeah. You were young, like you were when I was.
Yeah, no, when I was in,
I'm 7 years,
high,
a big
I was
deal.
listening to some of the music you were putting out.
Yeah, no, 7 years is a big deal. A big deal when you're that age. Yeah. Now it's the gap is closed a little bit, but.
Because you started one of the first labels,
It was the first label based on hip hop. We made a record in 1979, and there were no hip hop records when we made it. Yeah. And that record's called Christmas Rapping. It plays every Christmas still. And the artist was Curtis Blow.
Curtis Blow.
Yeah. We got on a plane, we went
what
to
was it?
Amsterdam. He's like, Mr. Simmons, what would you like? Who the fuck is Mr. Simmons? You, sir. What can we get you? Yeah, we were in Amsterdam. We want some weed and cocaine.
Yeah,
And the
it's
president of the company
Amsterdam,
said,
that's
no
why
problem, Mr. Simmons. So that's when I knew I made it.
When you went global, you start traveling.
I
they
never
know
been nowhere.
you,
I
and
never
it's
been on a
like-
plane, and I get off in Amsterdam, not Amsterdam Avenue where I'd buy the angel dust, but Amsterdam. Like, oh shit, I'm in Holland.
Wait, is Amsterdam Avenue?
Oh, in Harlem, yeah.
In Harlem,
we used to buy
right?
dust, yeah. we call it water, angel dust. We call it water. Anyway.
Yeah. Wait, what's the name of that label?
Def Jam.
Def Jam.
Yeah, Def Jam.
I mean, that's
man.
iconic.
Yeah, but
Def Jam. Yeah.
it was a ride, man. Def Jam, Def Comedy, Def Poetry, all of these different talented, creative people that I was surrounded with early on, and watching those them evolve. You know, like what did Chris Tucker and Martin Lawrence, what did Jamie Foxx become? What did Dave Chappelle become? You know, what did, because they all came from that show, Def Comedy, and then what did all those artists, I look at Jay-Z and Kanye today. I mean, when Jay-Z walked in my office, he had a record called like the one I got, him and Foxy Brown. And Damon Dash was actually the one who dragged the record in, and the record, Ain't No Nigga Like the One I Got. We put it on the Nutty Professor soundtrack, which a few other artists broke on that soundtrack. Foxy Brown and Jay-Z had that record. And it was how we met them, and we signed them both to Def Jam, obviously. And then they created Rockefeller Records, which we managed and distributed. I've seen a lot, man. I'm looking at these pictures that we were talking about, and Irv Gotti is here, you know, and Andre Harrell, my best friend who named this place, he's here. And these people have gone already, they passed on. You know, it's why this place is so relevant to me, because so many of my friends are dead because of lack of self-care. And you know, here we don't serve animals. We have 2 restaurants now here, and no animal product. And so, being here in this environment and watching them build this place, because really it's all Indonesians who run the whole thing, and nobody from Western is involved at all.
Yeah.
So they're building a great thing, and I just happen to be lucky to live here with them, and to get to meditate with people like you.
Yeah. Why Bali?
Well, I came here. I had been scandalized, and I came here to get out of the mud for a couple of weeks. And I stayed about 3 weeks. I came with your buddy, Steve Ross, the yoga teacher, who had been a monk and was a great teacher. And, you know, he introduced me to so much. So we came here, and then I went back in New York, LA, and back and forth and back and forth. And one day I said, oh shit, I live here. And I started building this house. And when this house was complete, is when Andre sat on the couch. And I told him about Krishna giving me a name. And you know, we from the hood, we grew up together. Like, Krishna gave you a name, really, nigga? Like, no, he did, man. I was meditating. I meant it came from me. But you know, you say God gave you. Yeah. That always your friend, like, God gave it to you. How? Well, it came to me. You know, it's your intuition, right? So Krishna is my intuition, is my inspiration. One of them, and gave me the name Govinda Dasananda, God's blissful servant. And I said, you know, I'd written books on, as you know, I've written a lot of books on happiness and well-being, and so let this be my last chapter, that I will heal people or hold space for people to heal and be of good use, you know, for my last chapter of my life, a good service. Mm-hmm. And that's what this place is, actually, just being here and holding space for people and watching them evolve.
Yeah, and that is correlated, like it's related to you working on the inner sage in yourself. It's like you want to give it away. What fulfills you? Like, there's something about what I always get from you, Russell, is that you want to make a difference for people. You want to contribute to people. You want people to live their best lives. It's like, that fulfills you.
You said it. For me, people are my oxygen.
Yeah.
Being of service to people is what makes me happy. I've always, even if you think back to the comedy or poetry or music, fashion, all of it, I used to really empower people to do their thing. And I'd watch them explode, and it'd be like, oh my God. And as a manager, management type, you know, a good servant. I always say the boss is a servant. The boss, you know, helps you do what you got to do, right? So if the boss could bring you coffee, you know, if he thinks you need a perk and you're doing your thing and you're doing it for the team. The boss is a team player and a servant. So I've always felt like that as a manager. You know, I make money because they make money. I do well because they do well. I'm happy because they're happy. I mean, that was always the route to my own spiritual.
When they win, you win.
It's inevitable, you know. If you can give until they can't live without you. They don't have to always acknowledge your gift, you know, because you always, as a good giver, you'll be a great getter.
Yeah.
And I believe that. So I try to make that more my motto than taking, but more giving.
Yeah. How do you handle, so given that fulfills you, right? Having other people win, having other people do well. How do you handle when that's your commitment? That's who you are for people. How do you handle when people attack you, or when people go against what I sense is like what you're really about, what you're really wanting to do? How do you handle it? Because I think the world, and I'll say why I'm asking this question. I think the world right now, people are afraid of sticking their necks out. People are afraid of like speaking up too loud. Like
you're a famous
people
yogi.
are suppressed.
You should be a famous rapper, or a famous, you know, something else. I mean, it's difficult today for public figures. You know, they're being sued left and right. Anybody can say anything. And you know, in Indonesia, somebody pointed this out to me. You know, if someone scandalizes you or says something about you and they don't have proof, then they're the ones in trouble. In America, you could say anything, and if it doesn't work out, and if you lied, no one does anything to you. It doesn't matter. So you can say anything.
And your reputation's already ruined.
Somebody's So for me, you know, I learned that you have to know who you are and have to live with self, and have to keep digging. You know, because that's our job. Life's goal is self-discovery, and the world is a little bit, you know, it's tough, and more tough. It's more roadblocks for public figures now. It's okay. It just is, and you have to have thick skin. But then again, you shouldn't, if you can help it. Try to live by other people's expectations.
Yeah.
Try to live up to in the long run, you will feel good about yourself, and in the longer run, you'll be vindicated of any kind of misunderstanding of your intentions. So if you have good intentions and you live up to your good intentions as best you can, and you're a good servant, then that's all you should worry about. The return, you have to give without expectation. I wrote that in my book, Super Rich, and my brother, Reverend Run, who's a prosperity preacher at the time, he was like, he said, man, this book, Super Rich, is bullshit. When did they get to pay their bills? I'm like, no, but good givers are great getters. So he told me the story about Jesus. And I put it in the beginning of the book. I had to go back and finish the book. So I put in the beginning the story how Jesus said, give and really give, and put your head down and give, and you'll be able to pay the Romans their taxes on time, because good givers are great getters. But for his disciples, he said, give without expectation. And then the disciples were way richer than the masses that Jesus spoke to when he said that. He taught them, who had more faith, to give without expectation, that they knew that God would, or the universe would take care of them. But the people working say, you give, you have to know how to receive, but be focused on the gift. Because if you're wholly focused on the giving, you could never not receive. But to be fully focused on anything is, as we know as yogis, that's the trick. To be a full yogi is to be fully aware and present and focused, right? There's a state of yoga. So that's a hard one.
And coming from generosity.
An honest heart.
Coming from honest heart, generosity, with giving without expectation.
It's not easy for everyone, you know, it's not easy, but it's, you know, the goal, at least to know that God wants you to be a good giver. And if you're a good giver, then you'll get what you need. You're always going to get what you need.
Yeah.
You know, but we're a little fearful, and we're greedy and we want shit, right? But in general, we have to keep reminding ourselves, remembering to remember the truth. You know, we have scripture. We're taught by prophets and great teachers, but you know, it's hard to always believe in or live up to all of what it takes to, you know, we have these 8 limbs in yoga, right? We try, but you know, non-harming. Well, damn, didn't you just chop that cat up? You ate the cat, right? You fucking ate the cat. You did something, right? You know, living pure ahimsa, even for yourself, is a difficult task.
Yeah, very good. Okay, two more questions, that's it. What, in all your life experience, you've been through a lot, from the early days all the way up to to now in your life experience, what have you learned about resentment? You know, people have these, we all have these things happen in life, and we can build up resentment. What have you learned about resentment, holding on to it or letting it go? Or
I know that, and you know, and we hurt people. And so we try not to be hurt. You know, we try ourselves to clean our hearts and not be hurt, so we don't hurt people. And then we have to accept people as they are, and to resent them for maybe they couldn't live up to a promise you saw for them. You just have to love everybody without exception. You love everybody without exception. This is another one that's very difficult. And you expect nothing in return. Just
no expectations.
Love everybody.
Expectations blind us, right?
And not only can you not expect much, but you do, of course there's discernment. Like, I can't fuck with this guy. He's gonna ruin my afternoon. Maybe I can just like steer away from him. Or this person's like when I grew up, there's kids who were murdering kids. Like, that guy's got bodies, I can't hang with him. He's gonna kill somebody, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna go to jail with him, or, you know, whatever it is. Stay away from stuff. Practice loving everybody all the time and everything all the time. But try to hang with people and in places that lift you up.
Yeah.
So you just try to hang with the best, but you know, you still have to love the things that, you know, we don't look for suffering. We have to smile throughout the suffering, right?
And what do you do with resentment when it's there? When it's there.
Oh, towards you.
Yeah, toward me.
Toward niggas mad at you, man. You look how big a yogi became. You know that yogis are starving, and you're flying around the world, all over the world. You built this big business of yoga.
Yeah.
You're a success story.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Yeah.
So they try to, but they really, sometimes they're like, how the fuck? Well, you've been practicing and teaching for 30, 40 some odd
40-ish years, yeah.
Yeah, so 40 years you've been practicing, but everybody, I know so many yoga teachers have been practicing and teaching for 35 years, and they can't fill a classroom.
Yeah.
So it's tough for them to some of them just feel great for you, and they're inspired by you. And more yogis are inspired by you than rappers are inspired by Jay-Z, I'll tell you that. But it's hard for them to even think they're him.
Like they get envious. Is that it?
Yeah, they're envious. Everybody's envious of the greatest in every space, but less in yoga. More yogis, because that's their job. Their job is to be inspired and to be, you know, the word I always say, like, I don't know how people live. They say, how'd it go? The bank robbery, it went good. Right?
Like, no, bro, it's not good.
Not good.
It's not
right?
supposed to go good.
So the idea
it's
of
a
good,
bad thing.
Right? But yogis have they have an idea for the most part. They're spiritual people. They're trying to be spiritual people, so they have to try to remember what's good, and what's good is to really be proud and inspired by you. But still, the ones who aren't, is the question you're asking. You just have to, you know. You have to love them anyway, but it's not easy.
In yourself, do you get resentfuls?
You know, I went through a very difficult period, and a lot of friends didn't show up, and it's bitter to say it.
Yeah.
But I really needed help in friendship, and some of them ran away. Some people came to me, but some of the ones that ran away, you know, I'm not angry at them today, or nor was I angry at them when I needed them. I was just disappointed. And if you love someone, you're more disappointed.
Yeah.
If you don't love them, you don't expect much probably, because you don't expect them to love you, right? So the people you think would love you and wrap their arms around you, if they don't, it's something that you have to be strong enough not to let it taint you.
Yeah.
Right? We just talked about the lack of expectation.
Yeah.
And how good it is for us if we don't expect anything. Love without exception and without expectation. That's what we want to be able to do.
I hear you, yeah. What I'm reading into that is come from love. Come from love.
Yeah.
And in our humanity, resentment may come up, but let that go. Let it go. Forgive. Step in front of it.
Yeah.
Come from generosity, giving.
If we
like
can.
That Jesus spirit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And then last thing here, what's your vision for GDOS here?
Well, I like the fact that people come here and heal.
Yeah.
There's always yogis that come through. I mean, they have 3 yoga showers over there, but they
Yeah.
always go through my living room and into the shower here, and the hotel rents it for me, and they put them in there. So, I love seeing all the yogis. I love the people who come, with friends who come and heal on their own and find new habits, because that's really what it is. You found a habit, you take it back home, now you're doing hot yoga every day, or now you're meditating every day, or now you've changed your diet, or now you've kind of, stopped drinking Diet Coke and shit like that. Horrible things that people have picked up, habits that are normal in outside of GDOS, this little sanctuary, little bubble here.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have any animals. No one can smoke a cigarette here. We don't sell alcohol here.
Yeah.
So, that reality is for people, it's a shift, right? And it's a shift towards a more healthy life. And also to look inside, to work on the path. Here, everybody's this yoga and vegan Disneyland. Everybody is looking for self-discovery, right? That doesn't even sound like a real thing. Self-discovery is like, what do you mean? Well, life's goal is self-discovery. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are you saying that? I mean, yeah, that's the only thing you need. If you know the self, you know God, right? So we know that as yogis, but the world doesn't say that. If we say that right now, you go to Yoga Mon and to a static dance with a bunch of hippies and you roll around the floor and you say, life's goal is self-discovery. Like, why you repeat that? We all know that. But if you say that shit in a club in New York, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking
What
about?
are you talking about?
But it's the truth. It's in every
Yeah.
scripture and taught by every prophet over and over again. So we want to try to live by the words of the prophets to as much as we can figure out what he's saying. Muhammad, Abraham, Lord Buddha, Jesus, all the teachers you have. And we've had over the years, any of these teachers, they're all saying the same shit. Can we remember to remember these things and live by them is the question.
Yeah.
Right?
Sitting on this couch was tight. I saw a photo of Mike Tyson meditating here on this couch.
Yeah.
He comes here, hangs with you at GDOS. He's meditating, doing yoga, eating vegan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that speaks to someone who's still in discovery. Like,
well, Mike is such a deeply spiritual person, and his wife Kiki, they're like 2 of the nicest, most beautiful people I've ever met. And they're such a great couple. Like, she's talking about a matriarch. I mean, she is the boss, right? He's like, I don't know, ask my wife. That's all he ever said. I don't know, ask Kiki. He said that. I mean, I'm not gonna get smacked for this, but you could smack a person the way he's like, what are you gonna do, Mike? I don't know. You have to ask Kiki. He's like, I don't. They're such a great couple, and she takes such great care of him, and he loves her so much. They're such, it's inspiring to see them. Just like you and your girl.
Yeah.
Y'all are look pretty tight too.
yeah,
So.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, very cool. Well, what do you want, just on this last note, what do you want people to know about Russell Simmons?
I don't really know. I mean, I want them to know the teachings that I'm trying to share.
Yeah.
One, we talk about these 8 limbs of yoga. They're pretty profound in terms of a life, a life that's meaningful if you can live by, the yamas and the non-lying, non-harming, non-stealing, control of energy and those things. And then if we could, be good givers and all the things we talked about, that's nice to really be an inspiration for somebody to follow a path towards God, right? To be an inspiration for that. So this is my last chapter. I've done a lot of shit. People know me from comedy and poetry and music and fashion and finance and stuff, and civil rights activism. I'm such an activist, now I feel exhausted.
Yeah.
But in regards to politics, but I was so active. Try to be passionate. I think if that's something that I was passionate. I don't care if it was women's rights or gay rights or, certainly civil rights. African Americans being treated so poorly in America. Minister Farrakhan was a great inspiration and leader for me. And, what he taught in our community about self-love was so important for me and for all the people who followed him. So know that I was trying to push the messages from Minister Farrakhan, the messages from the Buddha, the messages from all of our teachers.
Yeah.
And that's it. I try to live them too, best I can.
Paying it forward and practicing as best you can every day.
That's
right?
all we can do.
Like all of us.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect journey.
Fucking sure
but
ain't with me.
it's a practice, right?
Consistency
yeah.
is important
Yeah.
for those who want to learn one lesson consistently, and consistency and not quitting.
Yeah.
You can never fail till you quit.
Yeah.
So you reaffirm your commitment
If
every
you
day.
don't quit, you cannot fail.
That's right.
You stay true and keep truing up.
Like you said, true north.
Yeah.
Truing up.
Yeah. 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 Very good. All right, my brother, man.
Thank you for coming, man.
Love you.
Again,
Yeah.
I would say having you here is a real special moment for me, because I've watched your whole career and how and I've been a yogi 30-some years, and you way before me. So it's really inspiring to see you and see how young you are. Took you to Bikram and you went through class like it was nothing, and then you, yeah. So you're in great shape. Forget how old we are.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Stay
older than
young
you, but still.
forever. Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
All right, man. Thank
bless.
you. Thank you. Thank you all. Peace out. Stay blessed.